Hey everybody, welcome to the next episode of Did You Hear About This? Merry Christmas, you rat bastard.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal.
It's snowing outside.
It is. We have a winter wonderland here in southeastern Pennsylvania.
Well, it's a small coating. I'm not sure it's a wonderland, but we actually got snow, which we haven't really gotten in a while.
It is beginning to look a lot like Christmas out there.
It feels like it. You brought eggnog.
Cheers.
You brought alcoholic eggnog.
Of course.
It's 11 a.m. on a Saturday morning.
Well, we used to record at nighttime, and now for the past few weeks, we've been recording in the morning. So I figured, well, what's a good morning drink? And it's almost breakfast. There's eggs in it.
And you even said you've never had eggnog before.
I don't think I have.
So you're going to take your very first sip.
First one.
Oh, drum roll.
Does it matter that I'm lactose intolerant?
That's going to hurt you.
I'm not. I'm just kidding.
I like that I heard you gulp and swallow. It's a little ASMR there.
It's thicker than I thought. That's what she said.
Oh, hey now.
Yeah, I could see me getting sick on this before I would get drunk on this.
Oh, you can really taste the alcohol in this mix.
Yeah.
What's the bottle?
So this is Pennsylvania Dutch eggnog. And it has in rum and brandy and whiskey and real heavy dairy cream.
That's a lot of alcohol in here. Usually you just put rum in there.
It burns.
Yeah.
But it coats. It's like milk of magnesia with alcohol in it.
Yes, it is. If you have a stomach ache, this is going to help you.
This tastes like Christmas.
Well, we got a topic today. We're going to talk a little about the Hallmark Channel. And right away, I can see people go, why are you going to click that topic? But there's some interesting backstory of the Hallmark Channel. Plus, tied to this,
Secret game.
You brought a secret game.
Surprise game, yes.
Wasn't a surprise to me, but it's a surprise to all of you.
Yeah. Listen to last year's episode. I did the pick out the fake Hallmark movie.
Mm-hmm.
I just ran it back. I did it again.
It's a do-over.
It is a do-over, yes.
All right. That was fun. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
How did I do last time?
I don't know. I don't remember that part.
The eggnog has already kicked in.
Well, we all kind of lost because they were all terrible movie ideas. I don't think anybody won from Hallmark, except for maybe my mom that really seems to enjoy these movies.
Yeah, that's what we joked last time, I remember. It's only our parents that seem to watch this channel.
Yeah.
Well, there's a little history about it that I thought was interesting, and I want to share with everybody.
Oh, all right, then. All right.
Well, before we kick in, I'm looking at the agenda mailbag, fuck-upperies. You have any?
I do have some mailbag, yeah. Mail, motherfucker! First off, going back to our Tesla story from last week, Brother Dan writes in saying that AC, alternating current electricity, is used for welding certain types of materials, including aluminum, because apparently AC electricity makes for a cleaner weld and actually cleans the metal as it welds it together. I know nothing about welding. As I kind of said, and I brushed past it, again, I didn't get too hardcore in depth with like all the scientific stuff about it and all the political stuff about it. Just I gave the 30,000 foot view of Tesla.
Right.
But we do have AC and DC current. When I talk about DC winning the current wars, DC is what we all have in our homes. It's the predominant electrical current that we use. It's not that we don't have AC current in use in certain areas. It's just not the predominant one.
I'm still confused by it all, but I like the story because you told me that.
You really latched onto the pigeon.
I like the pigeon part. I made a YouTube short on it.
Saw that.
Yeah, I like that. One. He fell in love with a pigeon.
It was a good one. What else? Another mailbag from Brother Rob. Brother Rob is a local gentleman here to us. We did maybe last winter, maybe over the summer, is the mall dying? And we talked about our mall here in Reading. I think you called it Taylor Swift's mall. Well, it's taken a turn for the worse. They were going to shut it down on Black Friday, the biggest shopping day of the year. Apparently, there's sinkholes underneath all of the parking lots, so they shut down all but 2 of the parking lots. And that weird story I talked about where there was like fetuses in jars and shit that the guy was selling. Yeah, he just got charged for diddling kids. So the mall's taking a turn.
Yeah, you told it. Yeah, he was the weirdo store.
Yeah, who saw that coming?
Yeah, right.
Not saying all eccentric people are diddlers, but there's got to be some correlation there.
That seems to be what's in every mall. I don't mean a diddler. I mean a guy who's like running a store that could have never survived in the heyday of malls.
Yeah.
And he's like, this is my chance to finally have a store in the mall. I'm going to sell Pez dispensers. Yeah. So this mall had a weirdo guy who sold oddities and horror masks and things like that.
Yeah, and the hardened in there.
I guess not.
Yes, that's rough, man. Well, my last mailbag is actually legit mail. Brother Chris hooked me up with some, did you hear about this swag? We did a Secret Santa at work, and I worked with Brother Chris, and Brother Chris got me a did you hear about this engraved Yeti coffee mug.
I saw it when you came in.
It's the only thing I've drank out of since I got it.
Dude, Yetis are awesome.
I always had Yetis. This one's next level.
This was engraved.
Yeah.
It was our pictures engraved into it.
It's the logo on the Yeti.
I think your guy spent like $100 on that.
It was a $25 limit.
Well, he covered you for the next 3 Christmases.
Put me in for 2.
Yeah, that looked really cool.
Thank you again, Brother Chris, for the hookup there. Much appreciated.
I'd say thank you too, but I got nothing, Chris.
Well, he did say Bill's probably going to be jealous.
I am a little bit jealous. I will be honest. I love stuff like that.
So that's all I got from mailbag. How about you?
Nah, nothing. Nothing really came this way. Brother Steve, of course, he had some thoughts on the Tesla stuff. He's a genius. So he was giving me a complete rundown of how electricity works, and I'm still looking at it going, I don't understand. No, he knew. He's like, I don't want you to read this on the air because it's not about, calling anything a fuck-uppery. I know what you were going for, but there's so much more about the science of electricity.
Oh, I know. And again, to avoid people glazing over while driving, zoning out, and drifting across car lanes, I just wanted to keep it kind of simple and just kind of get to the more surface level eccentricities of Tesla.
Oh, it was so funny. Go back and listen to that episode if you haven't. Well, looking at the list of things to possibly talk about before we get into our main subject, Creature Commandos.
Oh, this is that James Gunn, the launching of the James Gunn new DCU, right?
Yeah, I either said to you on the show last week or I just said it to you in person and don't remember who we recorded it. I didn't even know the trailer dropped for this thing.
Yeah, and now there's episodes out.
There's 3 episodes, I think maybe 4 now. Yeah, I think I'm caught up on all 4. I love this show.
Yeah.
It took a little while to grow on me, but it feels like a Guardians of the Galaxy style thing. James Gunn has a vibe. He's got a style. It's all like character exploration. It's a little bit weird.
Okay.
But, it's put a whole bunch of people together and see how they play off each other. He's always been great at that. And this cartoon completely pulls that off. I thought this was going to suck.
Are there Creature Commandos that I would know?
If you saw Suicide Squad, the Weasel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the same Weasel in the movie is in this cartoon.
He didn't do anything but die, right?
I don't think he died.
He didn't die.
I think he survived because he's in the cartoon. This all is after Suicide Squad.
Is this a sequel?
It's all in the same universe.
Oh.
Yeah, so they're doing that DCU thing is like the MCU thing where everything is now connected.
Yeah, I guess I thought the Weasel was part of that first squad that went out before the real Suicide Squad where they all got wiped out.
No, he was in the second one.
He was in the second squad.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. Maybe who knows?
It's been a while.
It's been a while since I saw that. So to run an entire DCU based on basically Peacemaker, that show Peacemaker.
Yeah.
And the second Suicide Squad movie. Those seem to be the true beginnings of James Gunn's universe. So this whole Creature Commandos thing is really like the 3rd installment of his universe. And the 4th installment, we're going to be talking about in the news.
Superman, that
trailer drop.
Yeah.
And I want to get your opinion on that.
Okay.
All right. So we'll hold on to that for later.
All right. I've been watching. So I talked before, maybe back on our Vampires episode last October, about What We Do in the Shadows, the Taika Waititi, Jermaine Clement series based on their movie of the same name, What We Do in the Shadows. Just ran their series finale on Monday. So that series ran 6 seasons. It's done now.
All right.
It finished. It wasn't a strong finish, I didn't think. I didn't hate it.
Things run their course. Sometimes they're meant to die.
I think Taika Waititi, I read an article that said, this was like an idea that maybe it should have lasted 5 minutes and it lasted 6 seasons. So I don't know what more you people want. Because people were sad to see it go. And he's like, it's kind of wearing thin, right?
Well, if there's a demand to bring it back, I'm sure Taika will figure out some other plot lines.
The one thing it did well, it kind of did set up the opportunity to maybe have a spin-off series, but I don't know if it needs it. But what the show did really well is they would bring in guest stars or guest vampires from other vampire series. And just in this season alone, they had Skarsgård.
Oh, okay.
But not that Skarsgård. Like Alex Skarsgård?
Fred Skarsgård?
Maybe. I don't know. But not the one that played Pennywise. He was a guy on True Blood, though, remember?
Yeah, I can't. It's like Amy's got a crush on that guy. I can't remember.
Well,
his
he
name.
came back and he replayed his role from True Blood on What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, really?
Just for like a split second.
Oh, that's kind of interesting.
It was like a throwaway scene. But yeah, they actually had, in the one episode, they had Wesley Snipes on playing Blade. But they never said Blade, but he was on playing a vampire. They had Pee Wee Herman on playing the vampire from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Like, they would bring on like vampires from other genres, other series, and they did it very well. And it was hilarious. And it could have kept going, but I guess it would have worn thin.
Well, that's kind of interesting.
It's funny.
To be honest.
If you haven't watched the series, I highly recommend you check it out.
I've seen some of the episodes, and I love the movie. The movie's great.
Yeah, yeah.
And the episodes were good, but it's like I'm not that into it to go back to it. But it was funny.
Yeah, Matt Berry that plays Laszlo, the one vampire, he's hilarious.
Yeah.
Just his line delivery is so funny.
New York City.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about on that. Yeah, I like when people say, this show is done. We're not just going to keep on pushing it out, try to make money on it. It's done. The Boys, they've announced. I like The Boys.
You said it's done after this season, right?
Well, there's one more. And then they're
Okay.
like, then we're done. And they don't need to be. They could keep on pushing shit out and trying to make money on it. But they're like,
Yeah.
It's run its course. We know it's run its course. We're running out of story ideas.
Yeah.
So that's respectful.
Well, speaking of The Boys and Amazon Prime, I watched, on your recommendation, the Secret Level show.
Oh, what did you think?
I only watched 2 of them. I watched the Pac-Man
Yeah.
and I watched Mega Man.
I didn't see Mega Man.
Mega Man was really good. Mega Man was... So the story review you read last week talked about how a lot of these just feel like video game trailers. This feels like... Mega Man feels like it should have just been a vignette before the start of a Mega Man game. It was like Mega Man's origin story, how he was Rock, the laboratory helper for Dr. Light, and then he becomes Mega Man against Dr. Light's wishes.
Is that canon from the
Yeah.
video games?
Yeah, it is. It is. But what it made me want was a lot more of that and none of the other bullshit video games I didn't know that were covered in this season 1.
What did you think of the Pac-Man one?
So I have thoughts on Pac-Man. 1, it was interesting. But 2, there is nothing you can say or do to make me believe that that was the background story of the video game of Pac-Man that we played back on the Atari 2600.
Right.
This
No.
was like some kind of artistic, futuristic, we want to get in depth. People are getting all philosophical about this and talking about the philosophical ideas behind Pac-Man. None of that's true. This is all retro philosophical so they can launch this new video game that they're announced at the Video Game Awards.
Right. The new video game for the Pac-Man
Which is
episode.
the dark shit that they had in this cartoon. So what do I think about it? Okay. So I guess the idea is that Pac-Man is this arbiter that is stuck inside the maze, and it uses you as the player to help get Pac-Man out of the maze, but it manipulates you and then turns on you at the end. That's what I got out of it. But I was like...
You got more out of it than I did. Is that
I watched it 2 or 3 times, just trying to get more out of it. Like, what's this supposed to be? The one line was funny. Like, he said, "You can't eat ghosts." And then the arbiter says, "Well, you can eat ghosts over and over again, just everything except for their eyeballs." But that
Yeah.
never actually played out in the cartoon itself.
Right. Yeah.
I don't need more of that. I don't. I feel like it was just a way to launch this video game that they're coming out with. It's really not Pac-Man.
No, not at all. And it's so dark, and Pac-Man is this warm and cute and fuzzy type of game. I just thought the show was like, what would it be like if we perverted the warm and fuzzy video games of our youth? I was like, we don't need that.
Pac-Man existed as a video game because the graphic limitations of what video game systems could do back then, you were a circle-ish shape because it was all pixelated, and you would just go around a maze. But we can't just have you go around a maze. You go around a maze, you have to eat these things. The interesting thing was, in the cartoon, he was avoiding the ghosts, which in the cartoon were these monsters, these floating pink, bright monsters. Eating the ghosts in the video game Pac-Man was never a part of the game. The only reason you would ever have to eat the ghosts was so that it was a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
You would eat the power pellet and eat the ghosts and send them back to the base so that you could go around and eat the rest of your pellets, which was your mission. So in this one here, he was avoiding the ghosts, and the arbiter says basically, you can't avoid your ghosts forever. You eventually have to face your ghosts and eat or be eaten. I guess that was a true thing that had happened in this cartoon, but again, in a much more perverse way than eating for defense or defending yourself.
How are they going to put out this new pack? Because that was a gory cartoon.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be weird to be like, oh, the next installment in the Pac-Man franchise is this gory version of Pac-Man.
Yeah, it's the 16 and over was the cartoon. Like, that was the recommended viewing age because of violence and gore.
You think anyone's going to play this game?
I don't think so.
I heard they renewed the season. Even though it was getting bad press, and I was even saying to you, like, oh, I don't know what to think of this thing. They did get a second season, so people are into this.
I really thought Tim Miller was just floating all these ideas out there. They really are like video game trailers, as I said, as that article said. Did I like it? I don't know, because the ones that were good or that I did like just made me want more of that, not the rest of the shit. And the ones that other ones were just like, I don't know if I liked it or not. It's like, is this provocative for the sake of being provocative? It wasn't great.
That's what I thought it was. Provocative just to be provocative, not because it was good stories.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
should I watch more, or do you think?
I don't know. I didn't watch the Dungeons and Dragons one. I didn't watch. I hear a few of the other ones were good. Based on what I saw from these two that I watched, and I did pick them because I knew the subject matter. If I don't know the subject matter, would I care?
Right. Well, that's why I watched Dungeons and Dragons. I used to play that as a kid.
Yeah.
You didn't watch that one. That one I would have thought you would have watched.
No, I never played it.
You never played Dungeons and Dragons?
I wasn't a D&D kid, no.
No? Oh, yeah, that was fun.
I know about it. I mean, I know that every single RPG I've played in my life was because of D&D, but I never actually played D&D.
Well, the story was meaningless. It was just like, here's a little thing that happens. Don't even worry about how it ends up. It just watch this little fragment of a thing. And that was the story. I mean, the short stories are sometimes that way.
So maybe the less I know about the subject matter, the more I'll appreciate it?
I don't know.
Or the more I just won't give a shit at all.
You'll feel like you're just watching a scene in a bigger movie, but you're not getting the privilege of watching the bigger movie.
Just tickles your ass with a feather.
That's it. Yeah. I don't know if that's great entertainment.
No.
Well, watch Creature Commandos. That's good entertainment. When we're talking about cartoons, that one I think they got right.
The animation for Secret Level, you're right, is incredible.
Yeah.
They did a really good job with it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great.
The storytelling, again, could use some more.
There was some stuff on that Secret Level that, all right, remember we were talking about Sora? Sora is OpenAI's text-to-video generator.
Yeah.
And it was so good that they were trying to take it to Hollywood, who had a news story on it. And they were trying to get Hollywood to use it. Well, I don't know if Hollywood used it, but I could tell you that there was some stuff in Secret Level that I was like, that could be AI video. It has that same look and feel.
I thought it was. When the character in Pac-Man at the end, when he dies and like the light fades out of his eyes, I was like, that was very AI looking.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's possible they're already using this Sora.
Yeah.
Or there's other ones out there, like Pixa is another one I've heard about. So Sora has just been released to everybody. And everybody who has an OpenAI subscription. I pay $20 a month to get ChatGPT Plus.
Okay.
So it came to me. They're announcing a whole bunch of things right now. They're calling it like their 12 days of Christmas. Every day they're putting out something new. And this one was, hey, Sora is now available. So I was like, oh my God, I have access to the stuff that they think is Hollywood level. And I went and I've been playing with it, dude. It's not so good. It did not blow the doors off my car. Like it was just, that's interesting that you could do that, but there's always glitches. The person walks into the room and his arm starts spazzing. Another scene I made was a guy walks into an old burned down urban place and he walks right through the wall. I took a photo of my son wearing a Halloween mask and animated that. And like his head turned, 360
like an old Reagan.
Yeah. Yeah, like The Exorcist. And I was like, wow, it's really not that smart. So I tried as hard as I could to put in smart prompts that didn't, cause it to do those, they were called hallucinations. No, it couldn't really understand my prompts to make things better.
So you thought maybe the problem was your queries and your prompts, not so much the software, but turns out it was the software all along.
It's a software. It's almost like you got to roll the dice 5,000 times to get one amazing thing. It's still not controllable.
Wow. Now, with the burnout building thing, did you set that entire scene?
I just wrote, give me a burned out building.
So you did, okay.
Yeah, I was pretty vague.
Okay.
But for other examples, I tried getting really, really expressive, and it didn't help. I actually used ChatGPT. I asked it to give me a detailed explanation of a scene, and that way I could paste it into Sora. Yeah, I still got garbage.
Along the same lines, I wasn't really even going to talk about this. AI. You know I'm not really a big AI guy. I started screwing around with that Gemini on my phone, and I made a Gemini AI inspired meal last Sunday.
There you go. It's coming around to you.
Yeah, I was just like, hey, Gemini, like what? I'm planning on making this kind of steak for dinner. How do you recommend I prepare it, and what are some good sides? And it actually started spitting shit out. I said, hey, I'm going grocery shopping. What should I eat this week? And it was like, okay, Monday you should have this. And it started rambling. I was like, whoa, like slow down. Like,
Right.
No. So then I backed it up just to like, I want to focus on this meal for tonight. And it didn't invent this incredible recipe. It told me about a well-known technique that I've used hundreds of times before, and I was likely going to use for this meal regardless. But it was interesting more that it got me there, or that it met me where I was going to go anyway. I think that was the interesting thing.
Yeah.
So again, it's not creating, but it is streamlining and funneling information to me based on what's already out there.
That's what I tell everybody. It's an assistant that's just using data that it has learned from, and it's regurgitating back that data.
Yes.
That's really it.
Yeah, it was like sear the steaks in a cast iron pan, put the whole cast iron pan in a 400-degree oven, 15 minutes for medium rare, and you're good to go.
The new version of OpenAI that they really, one of the 12 Days of Christmas things they released is you can now take your camera and point it around the room and say, where am I? And it'll be like, oh, you're clearly at a bar or you're at a salon. Like it's getting smarter.
That's what those new Meta glasses do too, like the new Meta Ray-Bans.
Oh, they recognize where you are and will tell you?
Yeah.
That's cool.
But like if you're looking around, it's like, well, I know where I am. But again, it's like more interesting, more parlor tricky than it is revolutionary, you know?
Yeah, it's not that usable yet.
Like, I know I'm in a bar. Like that, how is that going to help me? You know what I mean? Like, there's a bar.
Well, Google had an example of Gemini before, they actually released the feature that I'm about to talk about. They just put out a video. It was a couple months ago. And it's a person using the phone in ways of like, all right, this is my calendar for the day. I want you to remember this, like holding it up to a calendar on the wall. I want you to remember this. Okay, and remind me when my events are coming up. Okay, that's useful. This is me scanning the room, right? And her keys are laying in the room. And then she turns around and says, hey, Sora, I lost my key. Or, hey, Gemini, I lost my keys. Where are they? And then Gemini would say, it's right there next to your laptop, next to your, plant. So, all right, that's cool.
Item recognition is kind of cool, yeah.
So I'm waiting for the day where you just put on these glasses and you walk around New York City and it's like you're trying to go to this pizza place. A little arrow pops up at the top left. Some guy comes walking up to you with an accent. The translation is on the right-hand side of your lenses. Like everything is just sort of there for you.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. And I was talking to my employees who are much younger than me, and I thought they would love this stuff. They're like, we hate all of that. And I'm like, I'm fascinated. I thought this was your generation's like big thing. You guys should love this stuff and all the cool shit it's going to do for you. They hate it. They see the dehumanization of it all. And they're not necessarily wrong.
They're not, but people aren't talking to people these days anyway.
Yeah, it's true. That's actually true.
I mean, I like your theory of it. I like your ideal of it being we should be more people to people, but we're just not.
No.
We're more isolated now than we ever were.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. There's stats on
this
that.
Post-pandemic world, we're still feeling the impacts.
Yeah.
We'll continue to feel the impacts. We've made technology to make it that we can keep people at arm's distance.
I read surveys like that all the time because I'm just interested in sociology.
Yeah.
It's just like, we really all have become shut-ins. Not a lot of people have really realized they've become that. Here's the thing about the glasses that I think is a reality that could happen. This might be going way too far. Do you remember in the Spider-Man movie where it was the one where he was fighting Mysterio?
Yeah, part 3, I think it was.
Yeah. Right. And he had they went to London or something.
Yeah.
It was far from home because they were in another country. So he had Tony Stark's glasses. Tony Stark had already died in Endgame, but he was bequeathed his glasses. And he was able to look around his school bus and all these little pop-ups came and it was like, this is Johnny, this is Samantha, this is, and then it had information on them too. And he was able to use these to basically understand who's the villain, who doesn't belong.
Right.
These meta glasses could theoretically, the technology is out there to be able to do facial recognition, to be able to pull data to say, oh, that's Joey, to be able to reach into another database and say, Joey lives at this address.
Yeah.
So as you're walking around the streets of New York and you want to stalk somebody, boop, 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 your glasses are like, here's how you stalk them. Like, that could be real.
There's the tourist. There's my pigeon. That's who I'm going to get.
Yeah. I mean, that really could be a dark thing that comes out of all this technology.
Yeah. Well,
Time will tell. It's like I said to my employees, I was like, this is really up to humanity now. Like, the genie is out of the bottle. This shit's going to exist. Will it become an everyday thing? That depends on if humans want it.
no, nobody trusts humanity. But then at the same time, we want to talk to more people. Bullshit. You can't have it both ways.
Well, that's everything on my agenda. What do you think we get into our conversation?
Yeah, well, while we're all isolating and not talking to each other and keeping each other at a virtual distance, what better thing to do than sit back and watch some Hallmark movies?
Well, there's a lot more that's better to do.
I agree.
How do you like the eggnog?
It makes me phlegmy.
I know, I can hear you and myself.
It's a very thick, viscous liquid, I'll tell you that.
No,
I am ready for more, though.
I was going to say, I finished my first glass.
Well, before you get into your facts and figures and history here about Hallmark, I'm ready for a refill here on the eggnog. Now we're drinking Evan Williams eggnog.
Evan Williams, that's a bourbon maker, I think.
It is, yeah. This is, again, whiskey, brandy, and rum, I think. The whiskey could be bourbon. I don't know.
What was in the last one? You said there was bourbon, rum,
and same thing. Brandy, rum.
Brandy.
Yeah.
I think I tasted the brandy the most. This
Yeah.
time I taste more of the whiskey.
Yeah, me too. But and hey, shout out. No idea is original. I got the idea for us drinking eggnog for this show from watching How to Drink. Greg on How to Drink on YouTube. He actually drank, I think, 15 different kinds of eggnog. And then he mixed his own eggnog. It was pretty sloshed by the end of the episode. We're not doing that at 11:32 in the morning.
No, you don't want to get sloshed?
No.
All right, so I wrote up a little story, a little history of the Hallmark Channel, because I knew nothing about the Hallmark Channel, really.
The only thing I know about it is that I want to avoid it.
Right, that's about it. So there's some interesting stuff here. All right, the Hallmark Channel, named after the iconic Hallmark cards brand, right? I'm sure you knew that. I assume that. Has become a beacon of feel-good entertainment. Originally launched in 1988 as the Vision Interfaith Satellite Network.
So it's very biblical, it sounds.
Yeah.
Real churchy.
They nicknamed it Vision, V-I-S-N. It initially focused on religious programming before rebranding to Hallmark in 2001. Owned by Hallmark Media, a subsidiary of Hallmark Cards, the channel shares its parent company's mission of spreading joy and heartfelt emotions. So that's their mission statement. That's their goal.
Yeah, their movies are like more sappy and viscous than this eggnog.
Yeah, that's true. While its roots were in religious programming, the Hallmark Channel has since shifted to a more secular focus, emphasizing family-friendly and uplifting entertainment. Its content often highlights values like love, kindness, family, community, all the things that make me sick.
I will say it is more secular now because so many of these movies involve Santa now rather than like Jesus and the three wise men and things like that.
Yeah, it says here, which resonate broadly without overt religious messaging. So it's religious without being too religious. The channel's primary demographic, you may not know this, you may not assume this, is women aged 25 to 54.
What? No.
25 I thought was pretty young. If they said 54 to 100, I'd be like, oh, that's spot on. With its countdown to Christmas event beginning in as early as October.
That's where I got all my stories from.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Hallmark's holiday programming has become a cultural phenomenon. These films, often shot in scenic Canadian locations like Vancouver. I wonder why. I always heard it's cheaper to film in Vancouver.
They do have tax breaks for film companies up there, but also it's colder up there. So if they're having like a winter scene, it works out. Environmentally, it works out.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. These films follow a comforting formula of small-town charm, relatable protagonists, and heartwarming resolutions, familiar faces, such as Candace Cameron Bure, which is
DJ from Full House.
Yeah.
And it's Kirk Cameron's sister.
Kirk Cameron's sister. I guess she's...
And they're hardcore churchy.
Married to somebody named Buer, I guess.
Yeah.
Lacey Chabert.
That's the one we talked about that was getting too old for this shit.
Yep.
That was the one from Party of Five.
Yep. And Danica McKellar. Who's
Don't
that?
know her.
You do?
No?
No? You not remember that name?
No.
She was Winnie from
from Wonder Years.
Wonder Years.
No shit.
Yeah. So those names and probably a few more are officially and affectionately called Hallmark Royals, with spinoffs like
Royals.
Hallmark, yeah, with spinoffs like Hallmark Movies and Mysteries and Hallmark Drama, plus merchandise like ornaments and even Hallmark wine collections. The channel has built a year-round empire. Hallmark's consistent focus on joy and nostalgia has cultivated a devout fan base. But we like drama. So I said to my AI, who's helping me write this, give me the dirt. I want the dirt. So this whole section is called drama.
Oh.
Let's see how dramatic it really is. Despite its reputation for heartwarming entertainment, the Hallmark Channel has faced its share of controversies. In 2019, Hallmark sparked backlash when it pulled an ad featuring a same-sex couple kissing after pressure from a conservative group. The decision grew criticism from LGBTQ advocacy groups and allies, leading to the eventual reinstatement of an ad and an apology from the network. This incident prompted Hallmark to pledge greater inclusivity in its programming. So evidently, this is the reason why Candace Cameron left. She's like, I'm not going to be part of this anymore because I'm just not okay with this. And she went to another competing network. So there's a competing network called the Great American Family Channel. Have you even heard of that?
Gaff?
Yeah, it actually says here Gaff.
Wow, I'd never heard of Gaff.
Yeah, so Hallmark has a competitor. Who knew?
I thought Hallmark's closest competitor was Death.
She says she's more interested in pursuing something that favors traditional marriage.
Oh, yeah, I told you, they were hardcore churchy, those Camerons.
Yeah. So additionally, Hallmark has been criticized for a lack of diversity in its programming, with claims that it underrepresented racial and cultural groups. While the network has made strides towards inclusivity, critics argue that there is still room for improvement. A significant leadership shakeup occurred in 2020 when Bill Abbott, the CEO of Hallmark's parent company, Crown Media, stepped down following the fallout from the same-sex couple ad controversy. His resignation marked a turning point for the company as it worked to rebuild its image and align more closely with evolving societal values.
But who's to say that gay couples don't want to sit down and watch sappy bullshit as much as what old women do?
Well, I think that's what they're okay with.
Yeah. But not Candace Cameron.
But not Candace Cameron. She went to that Gaff. Where they don't put up with any of that shit.
Gaff is straight as an arrow, which means they probably got more drama. They have more in their drama section than what Hallmark does.
Oh, man, I should have looked up there. Yeah. We should do a story on Gaff. All right, so this next section, it falls under trivia. The Hallmark Channel is known for its prolific production of Christmas movies, earning it the nickname the Christmas Channel, with over 40 new holiday films released annually. Again, most being shot in Canada. Also, using fake snow and CGI to create wintry scenes.
Oh.
So Hallmark's pretty cutting edge there, using CGI.
CGI for snow.
Hallmark often reuses props, decorations, and even filming locations, with sharp-eyed fans noticing the same small-town squares and festive shops across multiple films. I do this too. I was just watching a movie last night. I'm like, oh yeah, that's filmed in the Universal lot. I can see
you can see the background.
That's where they walked in Gremlins. That's where the clock tower is. I'm one of those nerds.
Well, apparently a lot of these movies are sequels and anthologies of other movies, because this one I read on here is like, oh yeah, and this character is now up to this, and this character. I'm like, wait, we grew up with these people? Like, I don't know any of these people, and now you're telling me there's like, this is where we're at now in their lives.
Oh, here's one. The network's interconnected romantic comedy universe. Everything's got to be a...
Oh my God, the cinematic universe? The Hallmark cinematic universe. How is that possible? And it's like the same 5 actors and actresses playing the same thing.
Oh, that's great. The romantic comedy universe adds another layer of charm with recurring small-town locations, festivals, and secondary characters, creating a sense of continuity. Even Hallmark's official mascot, Happy the dog, embodies the channel's dedication to warmth and positivity, appearing in pet-friendly programming and charitable initiatives. Hallmark's consistent formula and heartwarming appeal have solidified its place as a global entertainment phenomenon. That's all I'm going to say about it. That's the most interesting stuff in the research that I did.
Keep all this in mind as I read you some of these movie synopses. Synopses?
Synopses, yeah. Synopsises.
Synopsises. Keep this in mind as I read these. Some real, some fake. Let's see if you can spot the imposters.
All right.
Now, I don't know if you want to jump out right away and say real or fake right from the rip, or if you want to wait till the end and maybe hold off. Up to you. There's really no right or wrong way to do this.
Let's wait till the end. That way other people can play along.
Number 1, Operation Nutcracker. When a priceless antique nutcracker set to be auctioned at the Warby family Christmas charity goes missing due to an unfortunate suitcase mix-up, it is up to perfectly planned event planner Lottie Morgan and the free-spirited heir to the Warby dynasty, Tristan, to track it down, all while capturing the heart and spirit of Christmas.
All right, I can't wait till the end. I've already got thoughts. The luggage mix-up, that's such a common trope
Yeah.
that this one has to be real.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna hold off on the answers.
All right, that's good. Let's do that.
Number 2. 'Tis the season to be Irish. When a real estate investor travels to Ireland to flip a cottage she purchased before Christmas, she's surprised to find the property is in need of substantial repairs. Fortunately, the local Irishman who sold her the cottage agrees to help her find a new buyer, and a holiday romance ensues.
Yeah, that sounds like that could be real.
Okay.
Although, where was that filmed?
I don't know where it was filmed, but she traveled to Ireland, but it could have been Vancouver.
It could have been Vancouver.
Number 3, White Christmas. Not Irving Berlin's White Christmas. This is Vanessa White, a successful but overworked career woman, returns to her hometown for the holidays, hoping to take a break from her hectic life. As a winter storm rolls in, she finds herself reconnecting with her past and an unexpected love she thought she had lost forever, all while learning the true meaning of Christmas, family, and second chances.
Ugh, it sounds so boring that it could be true.
Number 4, 3 Wiser Men and a Baby.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Brothers Luke, Taylor, and Stephen help Luke's son Thomas with his school musical after the original director quits. In addition to the normal stress of the holidays, the brothers also have to deal with stage moms, musical drama, and their mother's new boyfriend in their attempt to bring the spirit of Christmas to the school.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
I don't know about this one. This one sounds a little sus.
Okay.
All right.
So you're thinking 3 Wiser Men and a Baby. I'm sorry, 3 Wiser Men and a Boy. Might be one of the fake ones, huh?
Uh-oh.
All right.
Well, if you made that up and just
We'll mark
stumbled over your own title, now I'm starting to think it's real.
Or maybe I just played it off that well.
Could have been. Yeah. You're clever like that.
All right, next up, number 5, The Santa Class. Kate North finds herself reluctantly taking over her father's once acclaimed and now struggling Santa school. In the weeks leading up to Christmas and the school's next session, Kate and her new coworker Dan discover who they believe to be the real Santa Claus, lost and without his memories after his sled steered off course and crashed near the school. They decide to help him remember who he is by inviting him to participate in the intense Santa Claus training program. There's a lot at stake this year, with Kate's school needs to best the rival St. Nicholas School or be forced to close their doors, and Nick, Santa Claus, needs to remember who he is or the fate of Christmas might be at stake. So not only is there a Santa school, there's a rival Santa school. Is this fucking Hogwarts?
Yeah, but I buy that one. I think that's real. I think that could be real.
Number 6, Sugar Plumbed. Emily's wish for a picture-perfect Christmas comes true when a magical, optimistic movie character steps off the screen to help. But as things spiral out of control, she learns that true holiday perfection might look very different from what she imagined. The character that comes off the screen, I believe, is the Sugar Plum Fairy, hence the title, Sugar Plum.
I was going to say, where's the tie? Okay.
Yeah.
What the hell is the Sugar Plum Fairy? Is that a
For
thing?
the Nutcracker.
Mm.
God damn, Grinch.
Yeah, I don't know.
Drink more nog, you'll remember. You'll be seeing Sugar Plum Fairies in no time.
I avoided Christmas shit like the plague. If it wasn't
Rankin and Bass.
I was going to say, if it wasn't the little claymation things, I was out.
Nothing. Nothing. All right. Number 7, I believe. Christmas break-in. Lexi Carter, a tough-as-nails security consultant, heads back to her hometown for Christmas, only to find herself caught up in a hilarious and action-packed heist when a group of bumbling criminals target the town's prized holiday decorations. With her old high school crush, now the town's heartthrob sheriff by her side, Lexi must outwit the thieves, save Christmas, and rekindle a romance she thought was lost.
I thought that was the fake one because he said it was an action story. And then when you introduced the cop who was the crush, I was like, that's tropey. All right. That's a real one.
All right. And my last one here, number 8. Happy Holidays.
Real.
You don't even need me to read it?
No, I want to hear
All
it.
right, I'll read it. Mia, a meticulous web page editor for the Seattle Tourism Board, finds herself unexpectedly navigating the holidays alone. As the only one working, she's drawn into an unusual situation when she encounters a stray dog. Unsure how to handle the situation, she crosses paths with Max, a dog shelter owner. Mia agrees to let Max's ailing dog find solace with her newfound companion, in exchange for Max showing her the hidden gems of Seattle. Through their journeys together, they both step out of their comfort zones, discovering new perspectives and forming a meaningful connection.
Yeah, that sounds legit to me too.
All right. So number 1, we have Operation Nutcracker. And that was the one where the Nutcracker that was to be auctioned off, the extremely rare, antique, priceless Nutcracker got lost.
Right.
She has to team up with the heir of the auctioning family.
And there's only one fake one, right?
There's 2 fake ones.
There's 2 fake. Oh, gosh.
I have to also say thank you to IMDb for some of these synopses, although I had to clean some of them up. A lot of the edit being put in for IMDb, a little sloppy.
Yeah.
At least when it comes to Hallmark movies. So I had to clean some of these up. And thank you to ChatGPT for the 2 fake ones.
Did they help you with it?
First time I ever relied on ChatGPT to write anything for this show.
Well, it does a shit job, so it's
I had to clean
perfect.
them up too.
Yeah. Usually do.
All right. So you think Operation Nutcracker is?
I think that one's real.
It is real.
Okay.
Number 2, 'tis the season to be Irish. Girl's trying to flip a cottage, flies to Ireland, place is a shithole. Local guy that sold her the place is going to help her fix it up. Romance ensues.
I'm going to say that this is one of the fake ones. Here's why. I don't think, and I'm basing this on the 0 experience watching Hallmark movies, that they're doing, or even trying to pretend they're doing anything outside of America.
You are wrong. This is absolutely correct.
It was
this
real.
is true.
Damn
this
it.
is real.
All right.
Number 3, White Christmas. This is one where an overworked career woman returns to her hometown for the holidays to take a break from her hectic life.
That sounds like a ChatGPT one.
You are right.
Was it?
That is fake.
Oh, it's pretty clever of ChatGPT to put that together.
Well, I told it to give me a Hallmark-style Christmas movie based on a main character, Vanessa White.
Oh, you put that in?
I did. Yes.
Shit, that was what I was giving credit to ChatGPT for.
3 wiser men and a boy.
Yeah, this one I thought was fake, except you bumbled the title.
Well, I bumbled it because I was thinking 3 men and a baby.
Well, then I'm going to say it's fake.
Yeah, no, it's real.
It's real. That
yeah,
one was
this
real.
horse shit's real.
Oh, geez.
And this is the one where it was like, oh, and now Luke's divorced from Mary. I'm like, wait, who are these people? Like, there's like a whole anthology of these fucking brothers, Luke, Taylor, and Steven, and their mom, Barbara. I'm like, who gives a shit?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody must. Our parents might.
Maybe. How about the Santa class?
Yeah, that one sounded real to me.
Yeah, 100% real. Stupid. Real.
But real.
How about Sugar Plumbed?
Huh. That one I was wondering about. Because I didn't understand the sugar plum fairy, but that sounds also like something ChatGPT could make up. But it also sounds like something somebody at Hallmark would make up.
Are you suggesting that maybe the people at Hallmark are using ChatGPT to write their scripts?
I'm not suggesting it.
You're just outright stating
I'm outright stating it. I think that one might be real.
It is real.
Okay.
All right. How about Christmas break-in? Thieves are stealing the town's, what were they stealing? Prized holiday decorations.
Ugh. What are prized holiday decorations? Could a movie be written around prized holiday?
Apparently, the town she grew up in was well known for their Christmas displays. Like, people would travel from all around to come see these Christmas displays. And now she has to come back to town because she's the head security consultant because there have been problems before.
A Hallmark movie about a security consultant. Real or bullshit? I'm going to say, and there's still one bullshit one on the list. How many are left?
It's either this or Happy Holidays.
Okay, well, then it's this. Because I do believe
this is fake?
Yeah.
You are 100% correct.
Yeah.
Yes. This is fake. This is written by ChatGPT.
That's kind of clever.
I can see it's as plausible as the rest of these pieces of shit.
Absolutely is.
Coming soon to Hallmark 2025's lineup starting on Halloween.
And that was actually the least, well, let me say it this way. It was actually the most creative because it didn't, using a security consultant, a town with prize, like, I've never seen that in anything.
Yeah.
So, of course, that was the fake one, huh?
Happy Holidays.
You know, it really does go to say that ChatGPT might be taking over everything.
It might be.
Because it's smarter than most of the writers on the Hallmark Channel.
And you guessed Happy Holidays was real just based off of its title.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is. It is real. Yeah.
All right. I didn't do so good.
No, you did very well.
Well, I picked some wrong ones.
Only one, I think.
Oh, okay. I did great.
Now, there is a bonus one here for this. There is one. What's the name? Lacey. What's her name?
Chabert.
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 Yeah. So there's one with her this year, and it's been getting a lot of news. It's called Hot Frosty.
No.
Yeah. A snowman comes to life, and he's hot. Real hot. Oh, yeah. Yeah, like 12-pack abs and all that bullshit.
Whoa.
Yeah. She totally falls for him. And that's been like the one people have been talking about this year, like on social media and stuff.
I didn't think we were allowed to be sexist at the moment. And to think that they would be, putting something like that out now.
Well,
That's
there's
interesting.
Apparently a group of old women in this movie that want to just straight up bone Frosty.
Hey, we're getting back to the old days.
Wait, you wanted to bone Frosty?
Wow. Old horny women? You haven't seen that since the Golden Girls.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Well, that was my game, man. You did pretty damn good.
All right. I liked it.
Based on your logic and your deduction here, either because you really secretly watch a lot of Hallmark or because you just know how AI works, you did very well.
It's probably luck.
There could be that too.
Luck and eggnog.
The eggnog's whispering to you. All right. Well, that's the 2024 installment of Spot the Hallmark Bullshit.
I love it.
Yes.
All right. Well, that leads to one more thing.
The news.
The news.
All right. So what we got for news this week?
Well, we touched on it earlier. New trailer that everybody's talking about.
Yes.
Superman. The new James Gunn movie, Superman.
Now, is this what's considered to be a teaser trailer? There was no voiceover. Well, there was some dialogue, but very minimal. It just kind of gave like feelings of what was happening, but there's really no clear cut who's the bad guy, what's happening, anything like that.
Yeah, I don't know when they say it's a teaser trailer and then it turns out to be a 2.5 minute trailer. Is that a teaser trailer?
I guess not. This might be the second trailer. There should be another trailer before this drops, right?
There was something saying, look up, basically meaning it's coming. And then the next day it came. Maybe that's a teaser trailer.
Oh, yeah, I think you're probably right.
But yeah, I mean, some of the footage in this, I don't know what the fuck is going on. There's a Green Lantern in there. There's a Hawk Girl in there. We talked about some of these things. But, seeing them in this world, it's clearly a world where all this stuff already exists. Superheroes are already here. So we're not going to be spending a lot of time reintroducing ourselves to what a Green Lantern is. They're just here.
So the first thing I thought, and the trailer opens with Superman falling from the sky. And he fell from the sky. I was like, oh, this is going to be an origin story. Like, is he just falling from space? He didn't have a pod. He wasn't a baby. But then you look and he's like, oh, this dude just got his ass beat. So then the first thing I kept thinking was like, well, who beat Superman's ass? Because the only person that really beat Superman's ass before was Doomsday.
Yeah.
But we already did the Doomsday thing. We're going back to Doomsday?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's still being teased.
Then there's LexCorp, and they show Lex Luthor.
And he looks okay.
He looks good. Yeah.
I always think there should be an older man playing Lex Luthor.
Yeah, you still want that Gene Hackman.
Yeah, that seems right to me. He's an older dude in the comics, so.
Yeah.
But they can use a kid again.
I'm okay with it since what's his name did it in Smallville. Yeah, I can't.
Rosenbaum.
Rosenbaum, that's it. And the new guy, the kid that played Beast in X-Men First Class.
Right. Hoyt is his name?
Yeah, he's good. Holt.
Nicholas Holt.
He's good.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks okay.
Yeah, he looks all right.
But I guess I look at it this way. What is a trailer supposed to make me, what's my reaction supposed to be to a trailer? It's supposed to make me want to watch a movie. It didn't make me care enough to run out and want to see this movie.
Really? Oh, it did for me. I did get excited. Yeah. I want to see it.
The thing that people lost their minds about was Crypto, the fucking dog. And I like dogs. I didn't care.
Oh, I like that scene.
Really?
Yeah. I thought it was cute.
Ah.
Oh, who's the Grinch now?
Maybe this eggnog is sitting in. No, like it didn't. I don't know. To me, he's the Man of Steel. He is invincible. And this whole thing, he's laying there, bleeding the fuck out, has a collapsed lung, spitting blood, and his dog comes and saves him. I'm like, this isn't Superman.
Yeah, that's true. A couple scenes he's getting his ass kicked.
He played a good nerd, though, when they had like Clark Kent at the Daily Planet.
With the curly hair?
Yeah.
You like that? I actually thought he looked kind of doofy.
Well, that's the whole idea.
Oh. Do you want to look at somebody who's doofy the whole time?
Well, that's Clark Kent.
Yeah, but he didn't look that dumb. I don't know. They curled up this kid's hair.
Yeah,
What's he going to do when he turns into Superman? He's
slick it back.
Does he just take his hand and go?
He got a
with some
straightening
gel?
iron. He's bring out the straightening iron, yeah.
And then there's other characters. I don't know who Mr. Terrific is. I don't know who some of the other ones are.
Yeah, we talked about that.
So it's like they're just going to try to bring you in on these quirky characters. Like, why did you use the bowl cut version of Green Lantern? Why not like one of the popular ones?
Yeah.
So they're doing some weird things with this.
Is it Hal Jordan? Is that the Green
No.
Lantern? Is some other Green Lantern?
It's a different one.
Yeah.
It's one I don't even know.
Ah. I don't know. It didn't. I wasn't like, oh yeah, here we go.
Did you only watch it once?
Twice.
Yeah. And you didn't really. So I was feeling like, oh, they're building something. Something's coming. Something's going to be great.
Lois Lane looked good.
She looked cool. Yeah, a lot of it.
Very authentic.
What do you think about them using the original Superman music?
Yeah.
I
thought
loved
about John Williams, the original score from John Williams.
I don't think he's doing this. I think somebody is reinterpreting his themes.
Right, but he wrote the original.
I was super glad to see that.
That was the one thing about the it was like what, electric guitar.
Yeah, heavy metal version. But that's one of them iconic scores. Like, you can't have a Superman movie without it.
No.
And if you try, you get that other version, the Schneider version.
Yeah.
I don't know. It felt good. The kid seemed good. The kid playing Superman. I
Corn Sweat seems okay.
Got used to looking at him. I'm like, all right, you'll be all right. You'll be an all right Superman. Just the curly hair looked pretty stupid.
They used the Trans-Siberian Orchestra version of John Williams' Superman score.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the next trailer will come out. I don't know what more it'll reveal, but there's a lot going on in this movie, and there's no sense of what the fucking plot is. You're just what you said. Like, it's just scenes, but they did not spoil anything in my mind. It's one of those trailers where you actually end up going, I can't wait to see the next trailer to help put some of this together, which isn't what they do with a ton of these superhero movies. Usually they spill it all out.
And I know it sounds dismissive, and I know I said meh probably 3 times. It didn't move the needle for me, but I don't hate it. Like, I'll watch this movie. It's just not making me clamor to run out and see it right now.
I might be so burned out on MCU until they fix it with the stuff that they...
Well, this is DCU.
Yeah, so I think I'm excited for this because I like...
something different. Okay.
Yeah. I'm like, maybe superheroes are back. Maybe James Gunn is successul. We'll see.
Well, he's working you over with those creature commandos.
He got me with that dumb thing. I was like, there's no way I'm going to like this. I'm fucking sucked in. I can't wait for the next episode.
Wow.
Well, not much more to say there. I was just curious what you thought. I'm surprised you don't like it more than you do.
I'm glad we're not seeing origin stories all over again. That would be just overkill.
That is, we've had enough. Everybody at this point knows how Spider-Man came to be, I did like that with the last MCU Spider-Man. They never gave us an origin story.
Yeah.
Like, we get it. We've seen this origin story 1,000 times in our life.
You know what I think part of the problem for me might be with this trailer? It's not the trailer. I always kind of thought that Superman was like an underwhelming protagonist. Like, there was no dark side, really. I mean, for me, when it came to DC, Batman was the go-to hero. Superman was just like too squeaky clean.
There's a version in the comics. What's it called? They even made a Mortal Kombat game out of it.
Bizarro?
No, it was called Injustice.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And that's another universe where somebody killed Lois and just set Superman off, and he became a dictator.
Yeah.
So seeing him evil is kind of unsettling.
I don't need that. I want a hero that has some flaws, not somebody that went completely the other way.
You know, I'm okay with a hero with no flaws.
Okay.
I know that's not that's bad storytelling, but Superman seems to be the exception for
Where's
me.
the conflict?
I'd like him beating up bad guys. I'd like him saving the day.
Okay. So the conflict is just the injustice in the world.
Yeah, in part 2 where he lost his powers, I hated that.
So that was the conflict.
Yeah, I guess. I don't like conflict.
But you love conflict.
Well, I was just going to say, now I'm a hypocrite. I don't know what it is about that. I love Superman, but I love the Christopher Reeves version. I love the good guy Superman.
He was real squeaky clean.
Super likable. Everybody liked him. I just like a likable Superman. I think maybe they made a likable Superman. I don't think Henry Cavill was a likable Superman.
So would you say, given the choice, were you team Batman or are you team Superman?
Oh, good question. I think I gravitate more to Batman.
Okay.
And I don't know why, because I think Superman is who I like more, but I gravitate more to Batman stuff because you're right. Superman is like nothing can stop him. So
Yeah.
after a while, there's not a whole lot of Superman stories you get interested in. Batman's got a lot more stories in him.
He's a lot more of a complex character.
What did they do in the comics with Superman? Because I've never really read Superman comics because they were all the same.
Everybody had kryptonite.
Right.
That was it.
That was it. So I figured when I stopped reading comics in the last 30 years, they must have found some new ways of doing something with Superman.
Yeah.
That's outside of the box. But
I haven't read since the death of Superman. Well, that's not true. I did read the rebirth of Superman after they did Steel and Superboy and all that bullshit.
oh, the death of Superman was great. I remember going to a bookstore just to read the comic.
I bought 2 of them. I have a bagged copy yet, and I have the one I opened up to read.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. If they find a way to make Superman relevant again and this becomes a thing where we see lots of Superman, I would very much welcome that.
I hope they do.
All right, moving on. Have you ever seen a movie and you wonder, how the fuck is this great actor in this terrible movie?
I think I know where you're going. I have thought that. You talking about Robert De Niro?
I am talking about Robert De Niro. We really have the same news feed.
Please go on.
Like Bruce Willis when he was in that Hudson Hawk. I was like, dude, you're on top of the world. Why are you in Hudson Hawk?
Yeah.
So I've always wondered what kind of deals are made. You know, if you're an agent, you say, all right, I'll get you Robert De Niro. The movie studio then says, okay, but you gotta, for him to be in this, he's got to be in 2 other things, just
Right.
tied to it. We don't know what they're going to be yet. So I've always assumed it's kind of like you get strong-armed into, as an actor, you get strong-armed into doing some things that you just don't want to do. So Paul Schrader, we talked about him once not too long ago.
He's an agent.
He's a director.
Oh, he's a director.
I think.
Okay.
He's a filmmaker and a writer,
Okay.
known for things like Taxi Driver.
Yes.
I guess he's outspoken. I guess that's why all of a sudden he's in all my news articles.
Okay. So he's talking.
Yep. So this article is called Paul Schrader Explains How Agents Trapped Actors Like Robert De Niro into Bad Films. He says they tried to do the same to him, as in Schrader, but didn't find his point of weakness. All right. So Paul Schrader, a filmmaker and writer known for works like Taxi Driver, recently discussed how agents, particularly the influential Michael Ovitz, I don't know that guy.
No.
I guess he's a powerful agent in Hollywood. Particularly Michael Ovitz influenced the career choices of high-profile actors like Robert De Niro. Schrader explained that Ovitz, who was powerful in Hollywood, would exploit actors' personal interests, such as De Niro's love of real estate. Ovitz would encourage actors to make substantial financial investments, such as buying expensive properties. Once actors had significant financial obligations, Ovitz would present them with high-paying film roles regardless of the quality of the projects. The actors, needing to fund their investments, would feel compelled to accept these roles. According to Schrader, this tactic led some actors to participate in subpar or commercially motivated films that did not align with their artistic reputations. This sounds like Hudson Hawk.
So he was just manipulating these people
Manipulates them. Yeah.
by playing into their
their personal
Vices.
passions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hey, get into this. Get into real estate.
Hey, like
And
that $12 million house? Yeah, it looks like a nice one. It's a steal. You should get into that. Oh, I just happen to have a role that might help you finance that.
right. And then when that thing falls through, you're desperate. I got more roles for you. Schrader also mentioned that Ovitz attempted to manipulate him in a similar way, but Schrader resisted. Additionally, Schrader voiced his disapproval of reports that De Niro might reprise his iconic taxi driver character, Travis Bickle, for an Uber ad campaign.
No.
Schrader found the idea disappointing and incomprehensible, expressing concern over De Niro's involvement in the commercial project that capitalizes on one of his most critically acclaimed roles. This criticism reflects Schrader's beliefs in maintaining the artistic integrity of iconic characters in films, which I agree with Schrader on. Let's not make that Uber ad. Not needed.
You know what this reminds me of? There was a couple years ago, Harvey Keitel just showed up. No, it wasn't. It was, who's the guy that played Harvey Dent Two-Face in Batman Forever?
Oh, you're talking about Tommy Lee Jones?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Oh, I was thinking of another
guy.
a
few years ago, Tommy Lee Jones showed up in some kind of like Japanese commercial singing a song, and I was like, the fuck is he doing there? And maybe he had a bad investment he had to pay for.
He was in that Batman Returns or Batman Forever.
Batman Forever.
And he hated Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that about him too. Like, did he take that because he had to? Because he was financially obligated to? You take whatever you can get if it pays a lot of money?
I guess.
But it makes sense for the agent, the shady agent. He gets a percentage.
He gets a percentage no matter what.
So he's like, take this giant fucking movie, this Batman. I don't want to be in a fucking Batman. Yeah, but you're going to get paid $20 million.
Yeah.
Thus, I'm going to get paid 10% of that or whatever it is.
It's going to help with your crippling car buying addiction. You know, that I got you turned on to.
I got you hooked on. So I love that he's just calling out this Michael Ovitz. Just calling him out. I love it.
So the one thing about Schrader, he never got to his vice. I wonder what would his hot button have been?
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't say that in the story, huh?
Mm-mm.
Well, he's still afraid to get manipulated.
The Hollywood manipulation machine.
Yeah, I mean, this just tracks with everything we said about the dirty side of Hollywood and how dark it is and how people are just there to fuck everybody else over.
All right, 2 more stories. How do I want to present this one? I don't know if you know about this, but there's a new Marvel comic series coming out.
Okay.
All right. It's a crossover event. Marvel versus Godzilla.
Marvel versus Godzilla?
Can you believe this? The 6-issue Godzilla vs. Marvel will take place over different time periods, beginning with a Fantastic Four one-shot book. Godzilla has fought numerous foes on the big screen in recent years, including fellow classic monsters King Kong. Now that Kaiju will take on Marvel superheroes with Godzilla vs. Marvel, a series of one-shots that will include Fantastic Four, Hulk, Spider-Man, X-Men, and Thor.
I'm interested in Hulk. Hulk versus Godzilla? That could be funny.
There was a scene in Ragnarok where Hulk was fighting a giant, remember that giant Godzilla, and he just jumped up and started punching him in the head. And, but couldn't take him down.
No.
Who the fuck is going to be able to beat Godzilla?
I don't know.
He's going to step on everybody.
Yeah, but some guys can get stepped on and survive.
Yeah, Mr. Fantastic, he just gets squashed. And what's he going to do? Wrap his arms around Godzilla's leg?
Maybe. He's going to do the old AT-AT.
The old AT-AT. Yeah, he's gonna stretch and be like a tripwire. The Hulk's gonna come up and punch him in the face and push him backwards, and he trips, and Godzilla's done. He's down. What a weird team up. I read this and I was just like, this can't work. But I'm fascinated to see how they try to pull this off.
I think there's enough Godzilla people that would buy this and read this.
Oh, I'm one of them.
Yeah, there you go.
This is gonna take me back to comics. I want to see this. Have you ever read Marvel Zombies? All the different Marvel Zombie stories?
I never read all of them. I know you have the hardbound anthology.
Yeah, they're pretty fun.
Yeah?
Yeah, but every once in a while, they'll do something like this. Like they'll cross over to DC and they'll have an event like that. And they're not bad. They're pretty good. But I don't know how the hell they're going to make it work with Godzilla.
But as a proposal meeting, I could see Marvel Zombies. Yeah, I could see that working. That could be good. I don't know. This is just cashing in on 2 big properties, and we're just going to clash them together and cash in on it.
Yeah, I think that's all it's going to be. But
I don't get that from Zombies. Zombies was like a good story. That had good potential.
Yeah, it actually did.
And it came off well. But if I had to present that to a group of storyboardists, I could see people getting on board for that.
Well, Godzilla versus Marvel. Who came up? What genius came up with this idea?
Probably some pervert obsessed with pigeons.
All right, my last story. This one actually came from Brother Dan. So we were talking about Frankie Muniz. Like, where's he been?
Oh, yeah. I was going to use this for mailbag. Okay.
Well, it made one of my stories.
Made it to the news.
Made the
Even
final
better.
story. So Frankie Muniz.
Look at Dan contributing.
I know. Didn't we ban him from?
Brother Cockroach was banned for a while. Now he's back to Brother Dan, and now he's writing news articles.
Keep it up, Dan. This was helpful. Stop asking for Captain Planet stories.
And this is as close as we're going to get to a NASCAR story, Dan.
That's true. He has asked for NASCAR stuff, I think.
Yeah.
So Frankie Muniz. Oh, and by the way, this is a couple months old. Somehow this passed by me. Dan was the one who brought it up. So this story is actually from October. So Frankie Muniz to race full NASCAR truck season in 2025. The former Malcolm in the Middle actor Frankie Muniz is talking about his next steps as a racer by landing a full-time seat in the NASCAR Truck Series for 2025. Muniz will drive the number 33 Ford for Reume Brothers Racing, the team announced on Tuesday. I don't want to say it's a long time coming, but this has been a dream of mine forever, Muniz told People magazine. I always had it in the back of my mind that I wanted to try NASCAR. I wanted to do it. I grew up watching NASCAR. I was a huge fan, but it's not something I necessarily thought that I'd ever get the opportunity to do. I want people to know that I've literally dedicated my life to this, he told People magazine. You know what I mean? I love it. When I'm not in the race car, I'm thinking about being in the race car. I'm training. I'm in the simulator at Ford. I'm going to just be as prepared as humanly possible.
Yeah. Well, I knew he was a racer. He was racing some kind of like Mustang series racing thing. And then he said, oh, he's racing full-time trucks next year. I was like, oh, shit.
You could have fucking told me NASCAR closed down years ago and I would have believed you.
Yeah, I probably would have too.
I don't know anybody watching NASCAR anymore, but I guess it's still...
Well, you do.
Brother Dan.
Brother Dan.
I guess it still has plenty of fans because it's still around.
Brother Dan and Frankie Muniz.
I think that a lot about like even NBA and NHL.
That's huge.
Why don't I see it anymore?
Because it's off your radar.
Yeah, it's that damn algorithm thing we're always talking about.
You're screaming into the echo chamber, buddy, and nobody's screaming back because you don't associate with people that are watching hockey or basketball or NASCAR.
And I know it's still big.
It's out there.
Yeah, but it used to be, you knew everything was going on. You knew every team that was doing well in baseball and in basketball and hockey. You just heard it.
I think behind the NFL, NBA is the largest sports organization in the country.
Which is?
NBA, basketball.
They're the second biggest, you think?
Yeah.
I hear about tennis more than I hear about NBA.
Yeah, but tennis is only like a few events a year. Golf's huge too. That's off my radar.
There's another one.
Yeah.
I don't hear about golf at all anymore. I used to hear about it all the time.
Yeah, it pops up on my news feed.
Really?
Yeah.
You must have some interest in it to get the algorithm to
Oh.
share it with you. But yeah, I mean, that's just the way that entertainment has changed.
Yeah.
We're not watching the regular network TV as much as we used to, at least you and I aren't. So we don't see the regular network TV advertisements for the sports that they run.
Well, speaking of the algorithm, and I know you said that Thanksgiving 3 showed up on your recommendation watch list, so you know the phones are listening.
Yeah.
We were watching, my wife and I, Jenna, were watching television the other night, and there was a Walmart commercial, I think it was. This girl walks into this coffee shop, and I was like, is this supposed to be something? Am I supposed to know who the fuck these people are? And she was like, oh, it's Gilmore Girls. Well, goddamn, if Gilmore Girls hasn't been recommended to me to watch 3 times since I had that small, brief interaction with her. So, yeah, algorithms still do listen. So if I'm at work talking to people and they're talking about golf, it might just pop up for me to watch.
That must be bad for sports. I mean, if my scenario isn't just me, it's a lot of people and they're kind of like, oh, I don't hear about NASCAR anymore. Well, then you're not going to think to watch it.
No.
Then you're not going to ever be a fan again. It falls off your radar and you end up just walking away from it.
Well, how do you branch out into new things? I guess that's my big thing. You know, that's the problem. That's why some people are just so one-dimensional, you know? Or like somebody gets so into one thing, it's like, oh, that's your personality now. Like you don't branch out from that. Like that's who you are. You're going to be the NASCAR guy or the grilling guy, or it's just people just get so fucking typecast in life.
Some people, yeah, I know people like that. It's like that's all they are.
Yeah,
and I go through phases. Like there's things that I used to be heavily into that I don't even go back to. It's like been there, done that.
Yeah,
I don't have that kind of attention to be able to keep something that long. Football is the only thing that's lasted sports wise.
Yeah,
Marvel, Star Wars, all that stuff got killed for me, but in recent years. But could come back. Like I loved that my whole life,
Yeah.
but most things don't last for me.
Hmm.
Yeah, I changed a lot. We met each other working for a store, and brother Dan working for
NASCAR store.
and I knew nothing about NASCAR.
Same.
And I got to say, like working at that store, I kind of learned, oh, it's more than just turning left. I understood it a little bit better.
The only thing I learned from working from that company was how much I really don't like NASCAR. And had I gone into it liking NASCAR, I would have really, really hated NASCAR now. But I just don't care at all to go back to it.
I like watching motocross and stuff like that where people turn other directions and just left.
No, I just don't care about any of it.
You don't like any racing?
Not really.
Dude, we watched Stroker Ace the other day.
That's a good movie. Burt Reynolds?
Yeah, a NASCAR movie.
Yeah.
And I'm explaining to Amy a little like this is, they're drafting now. And, there's a reason he's driving this way and not just trying to keep on jumping ahead. He's timing it, there's strategy and all sorts of shit. It's not a dumb sport.
No, I'm not even saying that's the case. It's just not my world.
No, I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying like there's more to it that if you study it, you're like, oh, this is actually, there's a lot of strategy in NASCAR.
I worked for that company for 7 years and I learned a lot about the sport. I went to many races.
Did you?
Oh, yeah. I went to Daytona.
Did you?
Yeah.
With the company or just because you were a fan
with
at the
the
time?
company.
Well, for me, it was like all of it's boring until the last 5 laps. Then I'm like, all right, I'll pay attention. Because then all the work in the original laps finally pays off.
Yeah.
So I'd be a shitty fan if I were a NASCAR fan. Just waiting for the end.
You'd be passed out drunk by the end.
Well, that's everything I got.
That's all we got, huh?
We got more eggnog.
You
That
know
we
what?
got.
I'm realizing eggnog was a bad choice for a podcast.
Why?
Like I'm all phlegmy and it's like I'm just trying to talk, and it's not because I'm drunk. It's so sweet.
I'm a little buzzed. I won't lie.
Really?
Yeah, you're going to have to edit out a lot of the stammers through my news stories there.
Eggnog is the Hallmark movies of the Christmas season.
Well, I'm glad you never had it and got to try it right now on air with everybody.
Merry Christmas, man. And Merry Christmas to all you out there listening. Tell a friend. Let's bring in 2025 together. Hope you enjoyed the Christmas episode. Don't watch Hallmark movies. And again, stupid, yet strangely satisfying. Happy Christmas, Merry New Year, and we'll see you in 2025.
And humbug to my people.
Humbug.